the Trump administration, the federal government had pulled the funding for the California high-speed rail project. The funding was about $1 billion. I think it was $928 million to be exact. So it was a whole bunch of money. The state of California had put together a plan to create a rail line basically from San Diego all the way up to San Francisco. The first phase would have ran, as you can see in the diagram, from San Francisco all the way down to, let me see, about the Palmdale area. And there would be other phases as well. Now, so far, there's only a small section of that that's been complete. And so the federal government decided to pull the funding. And Donald Trump, the president, in a tweet, had mentioned this a while back, and he had threatened a few times to pull the funding, right? And so this has been a story nationally about how the high-speed rail authority has just been inefficient, how the politicians in California have just been throwing money at this thing left and right. And, you know, there's a point to talking about all this, right? You know, we can laugh at, you know, we were talking to Brent, we can laugh at FEMA, we can laugh at, well, the state of California as a whole. We were talking about them last week, by the way. And you think, well, it's one thing just to laugh at politicians and complain, right? We complain about, oh, this guy said this, and why is he spending all this money? But the thing is we actually have to have something that we can stand by. So it's one thing to have an enemy, right? To have, okay, we don't like California politicians. They're the enemy. I want nothing to do with them. Okay, that's step one. But we also need to have something that we're standing for. We need something that we're moving towards. Okay? And so what we need to identify is that the system of government, particularly, you know, the state level funding, the federal level funding, whether it's building railroads or conducting disaster relief, that centralization of power and money does not respond to what's actually happening in the real world. Okay, when you're talking about all these state actors, right? You're talking about local, county, state, federal. You've got other regulatory bodies in there somewhere. You've got all these different levels of approval, right? It slows the process down. It completely disconnects the person doing the work from the actual outcome. And the whole system has been completely out of alignment with what actually needs to happen. Okay, do we actually need a rail from San Francisco to LA? Is that actually something that the average person needs? Because to me, it just sounds like, you know, man, I'm a software salesman and I got clients in LA. So, hey, I can hop on the shuttle and meet my clients and it's cheaper than flying. You know, is that a trip that people regularly make? You know, I don't really know if that's particularly needed. You know, why can't we just hop on a $125 American airline flight or drive the 8 hours it takes? Why that? Why did the government pick that? Well, there was no like consumer demand. It's not like they polled Californians and were like, you know, what do you know, is it too expensive to go to San Francisco? Do you need help getting to San Francisco, guys? Well, we're going to spend $4 billion. That's not how stuff works in the real life. In real life, you've actually got to meet a demand. You got to have some customer service, right? But you know, it's like I can't sell you this gray shirt if you don't need a gray shirt, right? You know, or what if you don't know how to make gray shirts and you try to hire people how to make gray shirts, right? It's like it's a whole mess. Like they don't know what they're doing, how to do it. There's no one in the state of California that's really an expert in building building high-speed rails. I mean, pretty much no one in the United States is. I mean, it's like we don't really even have any reliable high-speed rails in the United States, right? So we've got to get past these gigantic programs like FEMA, high-speed rail, spending billions and billions of dollars. I mean, just look at the example we're talking about with Brent DeRitter. A few people with boats can rally together in a matter of hours, fraction of the cost, fraction of the man hours. There's no bureaucracy. There's no one saying, oh, it's too dangerous to go there. They're responding, right? They're responding within hours, right? That's the beauty of organizations and people and companies is that they can respond. They can respond to what we need. But government, with the way it's structured, with the way it's centralized, with the way that everything goes through this bureaucratic bottleneck, it just doesn't happen. It just can't happen.